Hi, good day. Marlon Bailey here on the set of the Savvy Singers TV show. And today we have one of the guys, my brother, worship leader, a fun guy. So we're going to have some fun on set today. All right. And we just want to dive into it. Our guest today, I want you to really make some noise, which part is right now. Share. Get somebody on the inside. The man himself, Wendell Bompart. You know, they call him Bumpy or kind of thing on the inside. So how you doing?
I am good enough.
Yeah.
I'm really happy to be here. Happy that you all have very comfortable chairs. I'm very happy. I've been on some interviews and you have to be trying to fold up on that chair to have half of your cheek on one side and you're trying to fight up with the interview, but I'm actually comfortable, so I'm good. I'm feeling good.
You see what I tell you? You don't start.
I feel good. No, it's good.
Nice. Yeah. Excellent. So we know Wendell Bompart, radio personality, you know, husband, you know, the children,
the son, like
you know,
children.
You know, you know, yeah, the children. So
yeah. No, it's all right. No. Some people who call me daddy and uncle and things, yeah. But no, you're all not my children. Don't be fooled. All mutual funds are not the same.
All mutual funds. But he has this gift, all right, besides everything else that makes us laugh. Yeah. And it's not something that you learned, it's just who you are as an individual.
Yeah, that's, I mean, I don't know. I always tell people this story. It's a true story. My dad is very still, right? My dad, I know he's probably watching. Love you, Dad, you know. He loves to give jokes. And growing up, he was like that, you know.
Right.
Always a still joke, you know. With my family, we love humor in so many ways.
Oh, okay.
But I remember I was about 8 years old. This is a true story. I was 8 years old. I was reading a book called Mr. Galliano's Circus by Enid Blyton. You know, them days, every child had an Enid Blyton book. Every child. So I was reading this book called Mr. Galliano's Circus, and it was about a boy who his father was a handyman, had lost his job, and the circus came to town, and the father was working with them, you know. So he was around the circus and everything. And then at the end of the book, coming at the end of the book, they end up taking the dad and the whole family with them. And in those days, in the circus was a caravan, so it's, you know, horse, and they had the caravan, or they have cars, but cheap, you know, and the caravan attached to it. So they gave the family one. So the boy joined the circus, and he started trying to find his place in the circus.
Right.
So he went around asking, you know, this one, could I be an acrobat? Could I be a lion tamer? And he went up to the clown, and the clown had some funny answers, you know, and he remember saying, I want to be able to do that. And so I remember thinking, I want to be able to have funny answers for people when they ask me anything. Right. And I actually started to pray about it, you know. And I forgot about it. I prayed about it. So it was like I went after that and was practicing.
Yeah.
And I only remember that when somebody asked me that some years ago, you know, how you always have a quick answer for everything. Yeah. And the Lord brought that back to my memory.
Wow.
So that's a true story.
Wow.
So it's literally God-given.
Nice. And we are beneficiaries of that. Yeah, all right, we love it. You also family background into music as well.
Right. Yeah, my family, the Bompart family, we have been in music for a while. My older cousins, they were part of one of the top gospel groups in the 80s, NY Men. And then coming out of that, when I got older, we started off Highest Praise, which is also around for a while, you know, Highest Praise, with people like PJ Harper, he was the MD with us for a while, Nigel, so he was a part of that group. Marlon Nichols, who's now away, he was our manager, and then went on to do some music with Wood, which was another local group that we had, and then so the family, we've been in music for a while.
And you yourself, you have a couple songs that you have written and have on the...
And recently, that is a new development. I still say new. I always tease artists, you know, who I talk to and tell them I am really a baby in this thing now. You know, coming out from groups and being in groups and things for all my life.
Solo.
In terms of solo, it's only 2017 actually was the first time when I did a couple Christmas songs.
Right.
And then I did inclusive of one I did with Goldie Bruce. And then, but my first non-seasonal recording would have been Excited. And that was in 2018.
Right. And there's you looking at bringing out more music?
Actually, I'm working on something right now with Fisherman Project, so
Nice.
we'll be doing something.
Nice. And
coming
we had
up
those
pretty
guys
soon.
on the set.
Yeah, so that's why I mentioned that. Yeah. That's why I mentioned.
That's awesome stuff. That's
Danny
awesome
and
stuff.
they on, yeah.
On the lighter side of things, and now going into what you do for a living as a correctional officer,
Right.
all right? And we want to address that or talk about it.
Yeah.
You know, your role, even as a God-fearing man, and mentorship. We want to go down that road as well, and seeing our young men, especially being victims of this lifestyle. Interacting with them and stuff like that. What are your thoughts? What's your heart?
I'm a prison officer now for 22 years. I've been in prison service for 22 years, and I'm happy that you call it corrections. Because for years the prison service that have dealt with people using misnomers such as turnkey and that kind of thing.
Right.
And for those of you who don't know, to call a prison officer a turnkey, it is the utmost disrespect. And people do it sometimes unknowingly.
Unknowingly, yes.
Sometimes even casual conversations say, hey, you're a turnkey.
Yes.
But to a prison officer who really takes his job at heart, it is a disrespect. And so I'm saying that now because publicly we don't really speak about it. But a lot of times people don't realize that. Because the tenets of a turnkey is one who is, you're big, you're brawlish, you turn a key basically, you lock it, and that is it. Right? I had a meeting yesterday with my assistant commissioner on a new project we're starting, and we were telling our shared responsibility partner that was there with us that many times people don't realize that our team, our motto is to hold and treat. If it was just to hold, anybody could do that. You can bring in any private firm just to hold the prisoners inside.
Right.
But the treatment aspect of what we do, the correctional aspect, the rehabilitative aspect, right? That is what sets us apart from just being a turnkey or a guard, and that's what we hold fast to. So my heart is in corrections and rehabilitation. The prison service, we have 5 tenets that we stand on, which is to protect, correct, relate, restore, reintegrate. And that is what we aim to do. Yes, we protect society and our charges, and then we look to restore.
Yes.
So much of it, me being a Christian, recognize so much of Luke in that, where they talk about Jesus increasing in wisdom and stature and in favor with God and man. So you see the wisdom, the intellect, stature, the physical, favor with God, the spiritual relational, and with man, social. And that is what what we aim to do, to look at the inmates in our charges and try to affect change with those tenants, and that's what we look at. And that's where my heart is,
Yes, definitely. Because we look at the aspect of, you talk about the rehabilitation, and I know the prison service has embarked on so many other projects, working with different entities, NGOs, with the church bases, private, to bring that culture, because then we talk about the correction and then the reintegration of prisoners. So tell us some of the programs that you guys, or you yourself.
Yeah, well, one of the thing that the prison service that we look at is that there's the recognition that there are certain criminogenic needs that, is endemic to somebody going astray, So when you look at, I wouldn't go into it, but basically it's saying that there are things that if these needs aren't met, right, it is what causes people to go down the road of crime, right? And what the prisons does, what the prisons service, what we do is that we look at those needs and we assess the inmates as they come in, and we say, okay, this person needs some anger management treatment. This person needs drug rehabilitation. This person has some social issues, some psychological issues that they need to deal with. This person is thing, but it's just that they have a learning disability, And these are elements that people don't see what's happening behind prison walls.
Yes.
They don't understand. One of the entities, like I told you, we had yesterday was a project that's starting with an entity called DMAD. I don't know if you know DMAD. It's a primarily a
Drama,
drama-based
right?
thing.
Yes, yes, yes.
But
yes,
they
yes.
are linking with the U.S. Embassy, and it's a project where it's called Inside Out Dads, right? And that's the project that I am now working on, where we are looking at mentoring fathers in prisons
Yeah.
to be effective fathers,
Yes.
even behind prison walls,
Oh.
right? Because you don't want that cycle. You don't want that cycle of
That's it.
father in prison, the son outside, and because the father, we have generations of men in prison. You know,
Wow.
we have as much as sometimes 4 generations of men in prison.
Are
You
you
know,
serious?
a great grandfather, a grandfather, a father, and a son. You know,
Are you serious?
you know? And we have that, and it's all because of the cycle, right? So, to be effective in corrections, the prison service realizes that we need to break these cycles. You know, universally, even in the U.S., there's the move now trying to break what you call the school to prison pipeline, which is, you know, is basically they coming out from school and they just go into prison because they drop out of school, you know,
Yeah.
dropping out of school, going on the streets and end up in prison.
Right.
You know, and likewise in Trinidad and Tobago. So that is what. So we have those projects. We have male programs to boost the male self-esteem, to the masculinity, even with the females in women's prison,
Yes, we have
to build them up. We have, of course, they had all the academic stuff. You have SEA, you have CSEC classes, you have CAPE, you have inmates doing CAPE, right? That's the academic. We have quite a few partners, faith-based organizations, churches that come in on a regular basis,
Yeah.
and they do work with the inmates,
Yes.
and they have their services. Now with COVID,
Yeah,
for the
everything
pandemic, everything is mainly virtual.
Virtual.
That took a while to get off the ground. So programs is kind of standstill for a while.
Yes, yes,
You
yes,
know,
yes, yes,
but that's now up and running. So we have a lot of these churches doing that, and then you have the social aspects. You know, like I said, the anger management and all these things. So the drug rehabilitation. So.
Yeah.
So that is that's really a drop in the bucket of what the prison is doing.
That's
you know?
it. And I'm glad that we're having a discussion to shed some light on these things because, you know, from society, you look on the outside and, you know, we had the philosophy or the concept of you do the crime, you do the time.
Right.
You know, and then we just forget about that, right? And the pointing the finger and stuff like that. But someone who is inside of that and also from the perspective of a parent, you know, a man, you know, talk to us to like some of the, like you said, the social norms and patterns that we see. And I'm sure being in the service for so long, you could identify certain patterns or traits or characteristics that you can identify to us, the viewers that are looking to say, oh, parents, you know, we always have these notions and we miss certain things to pick up on these signs.
Key to that, I always say that when you listen to some of the young men and young women speak, the biggest thing is absentee parentism, you know, right? And you can actually be present in your home and be absent. And that is the thing. You need to be present. And I think there's a lot of things that people don't realize. There was a time where somebody in prison, somebody committed a crime, you tell yourself it's a broken home, it's a single parent home, it's a mother raising a son, it's a father trying to raise daughters or whatever. But so many times there are people, they both mother and father around in the house or whatever, but they're not present. Daddy working from work, daddy going here, doing this, mommy work. When they're home is Xbox and PlayStation and cable and YouTube and TikTok and all these things that raising the children, you know. You know, people joke, and I am on TikTok. My son is not on TikTok.
Right.
He's 11. He's not on TikTok. He has been asked me, I know there are things. There's the pairing where you could pair. I could pair his app with mine, and I could see what's going on and whatever. Still, she's not going on TikTok. He's not on Instagram. He's not on Facebook. He's not on. He's 11 going on 12. Right. And that's my way of, you know, of trying to manage, you know, even things he looks at on YouTube and on TV. You know, so we have to be present. If you're not there, if you're not present, you're going to miss certain cues. You know, your child lock up in the room, as you said, right through, you know, and you said, he like to be by himself. What he by himself doing?
Or is he by himself?
Or is he by himself? He might be by himself physically, you know, but who's there with him on the other side of the screen?
That's right.
Who's there with him or her on the other side of the phone?
That's right.
You know, so a lot of times, so many things happen in those periods. You know, my son is a late sleeper. He's 11, 12. But I recently said, listen, you're not going to sleep after me. you know. No, I trust him, and he's a child and things so. And because, of course, I have my safeguard, so I know everything he looks at on YouTube. I know everything he looks at on Netflix. I know everything, you know. So I see if anything comes up, any content, and I go through his history regularly. You know, I take his phone from on a spur of a moment. You know, he was saying, "No, I say, give me a phone." I just take his phone. You know, and but he's aware of that, so he doesn't hand up his phone.
No,
I know all the things to look at. I know all the apps they have to hide thing, and it have apps on your phone now. You could lock thing. You could block certain things, and the person wouldn't know it locked.
Oblivious.
So you can have an app on your phone, right? That is locked, and when you go into your son WhatsApp and you press WhatsApp, you see it come up and say WhatsApp has shut down, right? Right? Or WhatsApp, whatever the error message, right? You know, there's a lock, a security thing where that's actually a code, and when that comes up, you have to hit OK twice and cancel once, and then you open the app. So as a parent, when you press that, and you see, you're going to your child WhatsApp, and you see WhatsApp has shut down.
Right, you just automatically, I'll check it later. I will
check it later, whatever. Yeah, so all these things you have to be aware of. And if you spend the time to do that, I think you can eliminate a lot of the problems that we see happening, and we could start to, you know, stop your child from coming by us now. We will, and people always say, if inmates actually tell me, well, Mr. B, if you didn't commit crime, you're not walking out. I said, that's fine. Don't worry. I said, I said, you don't provide. Don't worry about me. Right? Don't worry about me. Just don't come back.
Right? Don't come back. So, I mean, all these things are good. I'm really loving the conversation. And there's some positive things that are happening in the prison system.
Oh, a lot,
You know, I think there was the radio program
Well,
thing.
there's a radio station. Prison has a radio station. It's called Rise Maximum Radio.
Yes.
I was happy to be a part of the pilot. I was one of the first officers who were trained, and we were that pilot project. I was in Rise Maximum Radio for a while, and then I would have been transferred to do other things. You know, but that's up and running. That's our internal radio station.
Yes.
You know, they are present at every event. They broadcast online. So I can't remember the address right now, but I think if you search Rise Maximum Radio, you should be able to get it. You know?
Fine.
And it's run by inmates and officers.
Nice.
Right? So the inmates are the announcers, right? There are programs where you have inmate and officer, you know, co-hosting, you know. You may have an inmate DJ and an officer announcing. There's programs where you have an officer DJ and inmate announcing.
We're finding avenues and building, like you said, those talents and those gifts. I believe some year I came across the art exhibition.
Well, the art aspect of the prison service has been around for a while, thanks to the Raj Yoga Society, actually under a lady called Sister Kena Singh. She would have recognized the art. She would have come in and seen we have some inmates who have some fabulous, some great, awesome looking artwork, you know. And it starts off every year for Father's Day. We had an exhibition in Long Circular Mall. And so that has been going on. That has brought in a lot of revenue for some of the inmates themselves, you know, to put on their property, you know, for when they leave, to send to their families. And also it has been self-sustaining, because the income from that is what they use to purchase material and canvas and paints and that kind of thing. And that has been really, that artistic side of it has really done a lot for some of these inmates. You have seen some guys, no names calling, who would have come in with anger issues, and they discover that they have this ability to paint and to draw, and now all of their attention is focused there, and you see the change in their mentality and the change in their attitude, you know. So it's awesome things there. So we have that. We have the prison radio. We have externally with our partners, we have our prison youth club that's also doing phenomenal. You hear a lot about police youth club, you know, but prison youth club is doing quite a lot, you know, and it has some old police around close by. But you hear a lot about police youth club, you know, but prison youth club is doing fabulous things out there.
Great
we have
work.
a dynamic communications department that try their best to push out some of these things. So the public do, but let me do a preemptive question. I feel like that question coming, so
but go straight into it, because I want you to speak on that, and I also, so let's talk about the public, the perception of the public, and how we could assist or be a part of the transformational process of the inmates, how we view things, you know.
There's a misconception that when people hear about this term that was bandied about a few years ago called restorative justice,
Yes.
there's a misconception that restorative justice is a prison thing. And it is not a prison thing, it's a societal thing, it's a community thing. For restorative justice to work, what it does, it's looking at that thrifold, the victim, the offender,
Yes.
and the community,
Yes.
right? And everybody has their part to play. So the victim, yes, has to make reconciliation to the offender to the victim. The victim, there's healing that has to take place, right? There's retribution to be to be given, that kind of thing. And then the community comes in now, right, and plays a part. We are very big on shared responsibility, and that's what we look at. So you look at people like We Have Holiness, which is Pastor Kelly and you look at Vision on Mission, you know, Late Wayne Chance and his family and that entire team doing great things, and so many entities. The community, I think, we are not saying for you to be foolhardy and somebody come out of prison, let them come in your house and live in your house. We're not saying that.
Of course.
But you have to be mindful that, you know, somebody has come out of prison and they may be looking for a job or looking for something.
Right.
You may have a company or business where you can safely hire someone, you know. In the US, there's a whole move now called Ban the Box, where they are looking to actually ban that part of a form that asks if you have been formally incarcerated. Because that keeps back a lot of people from getting employment.
And that's part of all that is part of the restoration
justice,
and the restoration. Because I think a lot of people have that well, you walk with that stigma. Right? And I was about to ask you about that. How,
you know, so
how are we here in Trinidad and Tobago dealing with?
It has changed. I remember that same art exhibition, when it wasn't the art exhibition, we had a program in 2003 or 4 called Behind Prison Walls. And that was actually an award-winning program we had, where we won the Prime Minister's Award for Innovation for that in 2003. Nice. And what we did is that we would go to communities, malls and that kind of thing, with inmates, with art and craft that we would have done, with some of the inmates that who we call mentors, and they would speak to the public and that kind of thing. I remember the first time we show up in Long Circle and Mall, we show up in Long Circle and Mall, we set up and we think early morning because we set up before thing. And one by one we started to see people coming from the various stores, and the management came and said, oh, the tenants having a problem with the prisons thing, and they worried and thing, who don't want to open the store and that kind of thing, and who frightened and thing, and these inmates and I remember we walked around with the inmates to some of those same stores, and they spoke to the proprietors and that kind of thing. But you know what happened after that day, after that morning, it was a total change around, right? Where some of those people started to tell people, oh, they're going to check out the prison boot, you know. And I think that started to happen. And 2 of the inmates actually, they were asked by 2 separate people, like, when you coming out and whatever, and they were offered jobs, you know, from some of those same people, you know. So that is what they communicate. Have an open mind. 1, have an open mind. 2, the churches, right? Do not just be concerned with conversion. Yes, from a Christian perspective, we know we're all about getting people saved and coming to the Lord and everything. But be also concerned with the holistic man.
That's it.
So you have people, like I said, We Have Holiness. Jesus is the answer. I know you guys come in and do a lot of work. And so many churches. But there are entities that come in and all they can, when they finish, they have 24 people baptized.
On a form.
18 people baptized
numbers,
today. But how much of those people you're really concerned with how they're going?
Are they
converted?
lifestyle?
Are they really converted, you know? And what are you doing for them in terms of even in the future coming out? And there are people, I have known people who have been saved and converted and come out of prison and rewrite church and people turn their back in.
Jesus.
You know, and after 2-3 Sundays, the pastor come and tell them, well, you know, people are
uncomfortable.
You understand? So we have to be careful of that. So that is what the community. I think an open mind, I think, is what is really going to be helpful.
And I think that is going to assist in so many things. Quickly, our time is going.
Wow, that's good.
I want us to take you to the mind of the officer, so the mental space of the officer. You know, leaving their home, their family to come into this environment. You know, how do you cope? How do you?
Listener, prison officers are the unsung heroes. I say that without apology, right?
Yes, sir.
I love my police family. I love my fire, army, everything, right?
Yeah.
But to go, when a police officer does his job and whatever, he works, he captures whatever is sent him. Some of the same conditions that the inmates, the incarcerated persons, live in, officers live in as well, and people don't understand that, right? This remand prison is a melting pot of personalities and gangs and
Right.
so many things. And yes, you said you're leaving your home, your family, to go into that, and then you expect it to be a certain way.
Yeah.
You expect it to operate a certain way, and then come back and go home.
Yeah.
And things. So a lot of times, officers, people hear, you hear officer traffic, you hear officer do this and do whatever. You paint all officers with a brush. They are the 95% of the officers in prison service, and I would say more than that, do what they have to do and go above board and even above their pay grade to make things happen. But it's a mindset. It is a mindset that we have, that you know that there is danger all around. Yes, there's
sir.
danger all around. So of course our families are always, there's always that tension of my father's a prison officer, my husband's a prison officer, my wife is a prison officer, and the mindset, I think the advantage we have, or I have as a Christian, is knowing in whom I believe in. I know who covers me, and so I cover myself every day. Yes. I protect myself. I carry out myself a certain way when I go into the prison world. But the same I carry myself outside, same way inside. So people see me outside and say, "You're a prison officer." They're surprised.
Exactly.
No, I don't be walking around the prison joking and clowning and carrying on whatever the case.
Time and place.
Right, time and place. But when I'm in programs, which is where I work with the programs and industry, the inmate staff that I have that work with me, because I have inmate staff who teach and that kind of thing, they will come, we will talk, we will think, we if needs be, we have a cook, whatever, like on a Friday, and then they eat, and the inmates who come to class, they get something to eat other than what they have inside, But it's that relational thing and that conversational thing, and you get to find out so many things when that happens, But it is a mindset, and you have to be prepared to operate in those worlds. You cannot carry your prisons home.
That's it.
And you can't carry your home in prisons.
That's it.
And I think that's why we say we're the unsung hero, because 98% of officers, I think, do that. Not carry prisons home and not carry home in prisons.
Right.
And I always say that they need to be applauded for that.
Yes. Thank you so much, Wendell, for stopping by, bringing us these.
No problem. Time flies.
Yeah, boy, you're done already. And so you heard that, the unsung heroes, and he's bringing his perspective. There's so much positive happening, guys. Let's continue to hold them up in prayer. Let's continue to appreciate them. You may have prison officers in your family, all right? Continue to hold them up, encourage them in the good work that they're doing. And we continue to lift the entire organization before the Lord. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you guys, and great job. Keep up the great job you guys are doing. Excellent stuff.
Thank you so much. And again, thank you again for bringing us into your home. I'm Marlon Bailey, your host of the Savvy Singers TV show. And again, next week, Sunday, 4 p.m., we'll be right here. Want to see you there.